Welcome back to the PCC podcast. And I'm so excited because today is our first coaches corner. I almost said coaches huddle, but that's the name of our meetings. Coaches corner with both of our assistant coaches here, Alyssa and Rachel. And we're going to be talking today, just debunking what is your nervous system, what is nervous system regulation, what is not nervous system regulation. Because I think that term comes with a lot of like woo woo association. So I'm really excited to just kind of hear you guys' takes and see like where we align, where we differ on nervous system and how we approach it. So I guess let's just start I'll start with the definition. Your nervous system is the connection between your brain and your spinal cord and all the nerves that go out of that connect to every single tissue in the body and affects every single system of the body, either directly or indirectly. And really has a lot to do with things like pain, sensation, perception, and can affect a lot of our behavior and psychology as a result. So let's dive into what is nervous system dysregulation. I feel like that's a term that's been thrown around like so much in the industry on Instagram, we'll say, and a lot of people may have a misconception for what that is.
Yeah, I'd say to say the least, it is a very popular little buzzword these days. Um, but I would say like most people think that the nervous system and just dysregulation in general means I'm anxious. I'm 24/7 anxious. I'm always feeling like I'm in this fight or flight state. But a lot of the times, what that actually means is it's showing up as inconsistency in other areas of life, right? So, are you falling into that all or nothing cycle all the time where you're 100% or you're 0% and there's no in between? That can be a huge sign that your nervous system is dysregulated.
I
I relate
agree.
to that.
I was going to say it's not necessarily about like being anxious or stressed. I think that's part of being a human, but more so what you do or how you react to those emotions and those feelings, I guess.
Yeah. I relate to that so much though, because like uh, I think the thing that I've always kind of thought to myself is like I must not be dysregulated because I never like feel stressed. I'm not sitting here like having a breakdown like every 5 seconds and like just crying because I'm overwhelmed. I hold it really well, right? So I'll be like dysregulated for sure, but I'm just like kind of functioning through life and not really noticing where like the little things slip or like where I'm checking my phone like a bajillion times for no reason.
Yeah. No, I think that's a huge one. I think it's like, okay, what am I seeking and what am I doing in those moments where I'm dysregulated and kind of working on, I know we'll talk about this in a little bit, but different habits that we can input in those places. But I notice something that a lot of clients lean into is the like emotional eating patterns. And maybe that means, okay, during the week, it's like those are my A days. I'm on my game. Everything feels so easy. And then come the weekend, it's all so challenging and it feels like you're a whole different version of yourself. That can also be a form of I'm dysregulated. I don't feel like I can maintain, and it doesn't have to be the same level of these habits, right? But even any level of nutrition consistency or just consistency across the board in any of these habits across the board.
I love that.
I also have like a couple examples of like what can dysregulation look like, and like a big piece of it can be like consistent overstimulation. So like if you have checked your phone 12 times before you've even had coffee, or if you like, for example, like for me, I tend to hate like the red bubble in the corner of an app. I just don't want to see the notification. So like opening it up right away to then like clear it. But then it's like once you open it, you have to respond, otherwise you forget. And so it's like constantly being in like reaction mode instead of like what I do now is I have my phone bricked. I don't open Slack. I don't open email. And I just do like deep work first thing in the morning that like is focused and undistracted. But like that's so hard to do because I think most people probably like wake up, their phone's on their nightstand as their alarm clock. They look at all their notifications first thing, and then you just start your day in that state. So would you guys agree it's kind of like living in like reactivity versus like proactivity is like a good way to coin it as well?
100%.
Definitely.
Yeah. I
I think
think,
the overstimulation is a really big piece of it too. Like you said, with the phone, it's a huge one.
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
phone, or another one I see a lot is that's similar but different is like procrastinating things, right? It's like, okay, I have this to-do list, and that procrastination could look like, hey, I'm going to doom scroll, but it could also just look like you're kind of numbed out because that to-do list is so overwhelming that you're just going to sit and do nothing. So, yeah, I think there are a lot of different ways it can present itself, but knowing that these are a lot of the ones we see pretty commonly.
So like feeling like you ended your workday and you're like, wow, I was so busy, but what did I even get done? Like the needle
Hmm.
didn't move on anything. Like that feeling. Oh, I
Yeah.
hate that feeling.
I know. Or like the clients that will tell me like, hey, I've been wanting to clean my house, or I've been wanting to, like, I have this massive to-do list that I need to get through. And I just never even make a dent in it. And I'm like, well, then why are we looking at the entire to-do list that needs to be done in one day? I'm like, can we put a few things on one day, a few things on another, and like actually spread it out so we're not so overwhelmed and feeling like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, holy crap, what did I do?
Yeah,
So little things that make a big difference there.
Hmm.
definitely. Okay. Well, then what does, in contrast, like let's define like a regulated nervous system because I think a lot of times um it I feel like when I hear that term, I almost feel like people think I'm going to talk about like meditating all the time, like just like being in a constant state of meditation. But it's really not that. So, I'd love to hear what you guys think about like what does it actually look like in practice?
Yeah, I agree. I think that when I've talked to clients about this, like at all, a lot of the times it's, oh, like, yeah, I've done yoga before. And I'm like, that's great. But that is not necessarily what feeling regulated feels like or means. So a lot of the times what we see is someone who is regulated is, like you said before, Alyssa, like stress is going to come no matter what. It's how are we going to handle that stress? Am I going to spiral with it, or am I going to delegate? Okay, this is how I can approach this. And this is, how I'm going to tackle this moving forward. So I think it's just actually not having the moment of, holy crap, this is so overwhelming and I'm going to spiral with this thought versus the action you're taking there is a way that I
Yeah.
see regulation.
Yeah, definitely. I think too, like in the way, because, the constant checking of the phone, or one thing I used to do in the past was constantly go to the fridge when I was bored. I
Mm.
wanted a little snacky, and I was like, wait, why am I in here? I'm not even actually hungry. And, it was always like that act of boredom or actually procrastination too.
Yeah.
So, like you said, those little habits we do on autopilot and don't even notice. Um, or also kind of like what you said too about the inconsistency like on the weekends, or um just like having that lack of regulated structure um in stressful times, or even just like throughout the week during different periods of the week.
Yeah. I think the thing that's coming to mind, like the best way I can put it is like typically, and you guys can agree or disagree or push back on this because I'm just like kind of processing out loud. But typically, living on autopilot and being dysregulated can be very synonymous. Whereas being regulated, again, it's not that stress or life things don't happen. It's that like there's a conscious choice or like a pause or a thought process behind the next action rather than like just letting it kind of take you. Like I think the best way that I've described it is like I've had clients kind of be in that autopilot rhythm and like they get to their check-in and they're like, I don't even like know what happened this week. Like I don't even remember. Like it was just a blur. And that's like a really big sign that you're just running on autopilot and like probably pretty dysregulated versus like kind of checking in with yourself throughout the day and even just building that practice. Like that's one of the first things we have our clients do. And it's just that practice alone is so mind blowing. Like what you learn about yourself from just like checking in, setting an alarm on your phone and being like 3 times a day, I'm just going to ask myself, like, how am I doing? And like what you learn about that, or you find yourself at the fridge, like Alyssa said. I would do that for procrastination too. It's like, I want to eat a snack because I like actually just really don't want to do this task that's right in front of me. And I think that is like a good way that like it makes sense to me, but you guys tell me what if you think it's the same or something different.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Again, I think another thing too is that when you do actually take time, because what is the percentage? It's like 80% of our life's on autopilot. I don't remember the exact number,
Scary.
but huh?
It's scary.
Yeah. So, but when you actually take time to, I was making content on this, when you actually take time to like slow down and become aware, like what we do with our clients, when it comes to their nervous system, it actually really opens your eyes to other things in life, I feel like, of the beauty of other things and more gratitude, which I'm sure we'll get into more of that. But
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
definitely.
I could not agree more. I'm like, actually, I just got off of a call with a client who our big conversation that we had was she's like, I've just been feeling so stressed, so overwhelmed. And instead of, hey, let's chat through this, let's figure this out, it was like, oh my gosh, I just need to kind of procrastinate everything that's going on right now because it's all feeling so overwhelming. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that just biggest thing with this nervous system regulation and what regulation actually is going to look like is throughout the stressful times, throughout any time, being more present with yourself, whether that is, not letting it get to weeks on end without having any connection with yourself. Set an alarm, like Marissa said, throughout the day to remind yourself, hey, let me just check in with me. How am I actually doing? Am I stressed? Am I feeling good? And kind of just have some more awareness there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what's kind of cool is like how we practice regulate or how we become a more regulated version of ourselves. Like there's physiological tie-ins to that too. Like I said at the beginning, our nervous system hits every single part of the body. And so like I think next we're going to get into habits that actually like support nervous system regulation or just help make it easier for you to not run on autopilot, and just kind of break down like where does that tie in. And it also like the cool thing is it helps with fat loss. It's like if I am more regulated, I don't spiral, I don't make unconscious decisions, I don't eat for random reasons, so I'm able to just stick with the plan better. And I think that's what most people are honestly missing. It's just we're in a world where everyone's living on autopilot.
Yeah.
So, um, like I'll give you guys the example and then we can kind of dive into the different habits here. But like, have you ever been just like so hungry that like your stomach is eating itself and you're like, I can't focus on anything else. And like, I have to eat and I have to eat a lot and I have to eat it quickly because like I'm going to die, like that kind of hunger. It's like, well, obviously you're not making like a logic based decision. Like it's very emotionally driven, very like reaction driven. So like that's where the first habit, consistent eating, like plays directly into it. So I'll just explain that one and then we can kind of rotate through. But consistently eating, like just having three well balanced meals per day, maybe some snacks, right? So a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner that has protein in it, that has fiber in it, that has complex carbohydrates in it. And that not only satiates you from meal to meal, but when you're able to be fully satiated, not just like I ate some crackers and I moved on, like that's where your blood sugar spikes and then it drops and then you're moody, your emotions are all over the place. You might get like dizzy or lightheaded or feel like you can't focus. And so, actually having consistent meals that are well balanced and portioned appropriately actually leads to better emotional control, better regulation, because you're just not in this like survival mode of like my brain is just focused on the food that it needs. So, if you guys want to add anything to that, but I think that's a big one that we start with our clients with for sure.
Yeah, could not agree more on that one. I think a big thing there is like, even for clients, I'm like going into the grocery store hungry, that is setting yourself up for failure, right? Like you said, just, I mean, you kind of covered it all, but making sure that you are eating consistently. Because if we're going more than 3 to 5 hours without food, you're going to experience some kind of blood sugar dysregulation. So just like that, sleep routine. I think that's a really, really big one that we see clients who are feeling more dysregulated that struggle with their sleep routine. So are we going to bed at somewhat of a consistent time throughout the week and the weekend, right? We don't have a 3 hour gap between weekday bedtime and weekend bedtime. We're finding some consistency there. When we actually do go to bed, do we have some kind of routine where we're not sitting there looking at our phone or watching TV for the 2 hours leading up to bed? Can we spend, 15, 20, 30 minutes not looking at screens before bed? That is going to help a ton with just feeling more regulated in general. And just making sure that overall our sleep is consistent in terms of quantity and quality wherever we can control that. So I think that's another huge one. I've noticed, like, a personal thing for me. I'm like, if sleep or food are off, Rachel is off. I will tell you that. So those are the two big markers here for me. But
Rachel is an Aura Ring queen.
we
She lives by that score.
love
Um,
it.
I'm just curious, did you guys grow up with TVs in your room?
Yeah.
I did not, but I have one now, and it makes me twitch a little bit sometimes.
She's
That's
just
not
over
a
there
me thing as
tweaking
it
out.
is. Yeah, I'm like, I gotta go.
Is it ever on, or do you make sure that it's not playing?
I was very strict about it when I was really going through the thick of the health stuff I had going on last year, but I've become a little bit more lenient with it because I'm like, all right, Kevin, you went through this long enough. You can
Yeah.
watch some TV now. But I've gotten a little more strict on, hey, we need to pull this back a little.
Nice.
What about you?
Yeah, Alyssa, do you have one now?
Yeah, it's actually really fun. Well, so growing up as a kid, I couldn't go to sleep unless the TV was on because I
Oh,
was
wow.
scared of monsters. Oh, that was my reasoning, but I thought it would scare them away. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, it's so funny. When I moved to Florida, I just packed up a car. I didn't bring a TV or anything. I didn't have a TV for so long. And then one day my dad was like, "You don't even own a TV." Like, I didn't even own one. He's like, "You don't even own a TV?" I was like, "No." He's like, "I'll buy one for you." And so my dad bought me a TV. I didn't even have one. Um, I do have one in my room now. And I do watch it, but I have a very strict cutoff time. And then I actually change it to the sound baths. Do you know what those are? It's like almost a meditation thing. I
Yeah.
actually do that. And then it makes the screen dark. So like the screen goes off and then it just plays on the background. So I don't have to play on my phone. So I actually do that at a certain time at night.
That's cool.
It makes me really sleepy. So
I bet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I need to
So
figure that
there's an example of a nighttime routine that is very
yeah.
nice and productive. No, that's super cool. Yeah, we had one when we were dating at the apartment that I was at, and Aaron worked night shift, so like he would just like use the TV to stay awake, and I'm telling you, I was pissed 24/7. So we squashed that as soon as we got into this house. And actually there was a condo before that we didn't have a TV at because I was very adamant at that point. I was like, nope, I can't do it. Cool. Alyssa, go ahead and take movement.
Yeah, so structured movement. I would say, and this is obviously something I'm gonna be very biased and very big on, but really having like a set, I would say like a set routine, not in a rigid way, but having like your movement day to day, so instead of just, I know a lot of people, like a lot of clients have said in the like past, oh, if I can't even get a full workout in, what's the point? I only have 15 minutes today, but still like sticking to that routine and still getting in your movement. And all my clients know this from like our onboarding calls, but walking, like it doesn't even have to be like a workout class or strength training, but walking, I will scream from the rooftops forever. Um, and also to using it in a way where it's not, oh, I have to do this because I ate bad, or I have to do this because I need to lose weight and I hate it. But doing it from a place of, I'm doing this out of love for my body and to feel good mentally and physically, and giving my body what it needs and what it deserves. Because I always say exercise is not punishment, it's a reward for what your body can do. So structuring in movement consistently, not again, that all or nothing mindset, 10 minutes is better than 0 minutes. So
Yeah.
keeping that in consistently and having the right mindset around it too.
Yeah, I have a client who's in the audit right now, in the thick of the audit, and she sent me this message midday the other day. It was like, I'm so stressed from this meeting that just happened. I'm going to go on a walk in about 20 minutes, and I just really hope that it clears my head. I messaged her back. I was like, check in with me after, like, let me know how you feel. And she came back. She was like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Like, I got in the sun, like, I got to relax. And I was like, yep, this is why we do it. And it's not always just to get the step count, you know?
That's what I do. I walks are my number one stress reliever. If I'm stressed, anxious, or I just physically feel like I'm like I gotta drop this and go for a walk and come back and I feel way better.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, Rachel, I think you, or no, I'm next. I'm next. Is reducing constant stimulation. So, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, not to like put a product plug in here, but the brick, it's worth it. So, if you guys don't know what that is, it is a little cube that you sync your phone up to, and when you tap it on and off, it can lock you out of your like whatever apps you choose. So, like right now, my phone's locked out from all social media and things like that, and I just use it like every single night on the weekends, like whenever I'm working and I don't want to get on my phone. So now I barely consume content. Like I mostly just produce content, and like my creativity, my energy is so much better. I think what people don't realize is like when you've been in the habit of being on your phone 24/7, how much like just dopamine and brain power and energy that it sucks out of you. And I had a little relapse, I'll call it. I like stopped using my break for like an entire weekend. And when I tell you, like my mental health like just took a huge dive right after. I put two and two together. I was like, this really like when you're away from it for so long and then you realize kind of what state you were kind of always in, it really impacts things like mood and motivation and mental health and energy. I think more than you guys, not you two here on this podcast, you guys know, but people listening to this, I think more than they realize. So something I recommend is like either get a break or just like experiment with setting stronger boundaries around your phone, like plugging it in somewhere else, not your room, not your bedstand before you go to sleep, and just not multitasking with it 24/7. Like how many people like brush their teeth while scrolling or drive while scrolling? I mean, come on. So many things. So just giving our brains that space to slow down.
Oh,
Yeah.
can I say one thing or two things for this?
Yeah.
I guess one would be I don't know. So there's this YouTuber. I'll just send it to you guys. So he kind of did something like this. He got rid of his phone and all screens, not
Ooh.
his watch, nothing for like over 3 straight days. And he did a brain scan before and after to show parts of his brain that were overactive and underactive. I'll just send it to you guys. And when he started, it was super underactive for being overstimulated. Like there was just red. Once he was done, it was literally all clear. Like I mean, he did this on top of fasting too. So basically getting rid of that like need to eat all the time or think about food and then the phone. His brain scan after was like fully clear. It was so cool. So I'll just send that to you guys. But that I feel like that goes along with this super well.
Oh,
That's
that's
insane. I'm not
wild.
surprised. I'm like, truly, I could not agree more, Marissa. I had a day recently where I didn't use my brick, and I was like, oh, like I'm a little free today. I'll scroll a little more.
Yeah.
Literally the next day, I felt like a zombie. Like brain fog was there. I just was so much slower. And there's so much research on, obviously, it's a quick dopamine hit. If you, instead of scrolling first thing in the morning, go outside, it's so, I mean, obviously we all know it is so much better for your mental health. Oh my gosh, the amount of excitement I feel throughout the day if I scroll on my phone first thing in the morning versus if I don't is night and day difference. It is just insane how the impact it has.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
often do people scroll while watching TV or already on another screen?
I know. I have my little screen and then I have my big screen behind my little
Yeah.
screen, and I'm paying attention to neither of them, but I'm numbing out entirely. Yeah.
No, totally.
cool. Rachel, you want to close us out? Maybe sum up the last two here?
Yeah. So I think realistic expectations is a big one. Um, Coming into program or just in life with yourself, not expecting yourself to be perfect, right? This is part of the call I just got off of too. Expecting this, hey, I have to be 110%, 110% of the time is not going to get you to a point where you're able to feel regulated because that's not human. We are not going to be able to do that, right? Shit happens, life happens. We are going to have to adapt and modify things to make sure we can, hey, like Alyssa said, I might not be able to get the full workout in, but I can get 15 minutes. I might not be able to get my long walk in today, but I can still step outside and get some sun versus scrolling on my phone. So adapting is a really, really big thing. And just having some like little minimum anchor habits and standards for yourself is a big one. And then just following through on those small promises you make to yourself, right? Like that's what's going to build momentum and build the trust within yourself. So showing up, doing the little things, and doing those consistently is what's going to take you the long way and get you to those big goals you have.
Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly think like when it comes to those realistic expectations, it's just remembering that like being regulated does not mean that you don't have emotions and that you don't feel and that you don't get stressed and that you don't get overwhelmed. Because like I always tell my clients this, it's like there is no reality in where that's a real thing. It is the fact that you experience that and that you have the moments where you feel like you want to throw it all away and that you're ready to, say screw it and just spiral, but you don't, and your actions go in the other direction. So I know we're up on time here, so I'll wrap us up and get us out of here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this Coach's Corner. And if you want more, let us know what topics you'd love for us to cover. And we will go ahead and do that and be back soon. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you back here next week.